Hi, Dave Richard here to talk about climate change. Okay, so let's get this out of the way right now. It should be obvious that Earth's climate is changing. Anyone who denies that is just plain foolish. The problem becomes when people try to discuss how and why our climate is changing. Liberals want to simplify things and label anyone who doesn't believe that man is the cause of climate change as quote-unquote deniers, mainly because liberals don't really want to have a serious discussion about climate change. Of course, maybe a vlog isn't the best way to have a serious discussion about climate change either, but since it's my vlog, I'll do as I please. The problem with any climate change discussion is that politics and government get in the way. And that's where the lies and the misinformation take flight. The biggest lie, and there's no way to sugarcoat it because it's an outright lie, is one of quote-unquote consensus. Liberals are quick to pounce on, and more importantly, repeat until they're blue in the face, that 97% of the world's scientists agree that climate change is man-made. Minor problem number one. The numbers they rely on are completely fabricated. You know, like Hillary's reasons for wanting to have a private server for all of her emails. But I digress. Here's how one single set of survey responses have fostered a 97% legion of liberal lemmings. Back in 2009, over 3,000 responses to a simple climate change survey were received by a master's student and her advisor. Not liking the responses they received, they narrowed their criteria to only self-proclaimed climate scientists, then further narrowed their responses to only those who had more than 50% of their recent papers published on climate change. In short, they kept narrowing the criteria until they got the answer they liked, which was that 77 of 79 finalists, there's that 97% for you math majors, agreed that climate change was real and was man-made. But they cooked the books. And when that lie was exposed, another liberal named Cook tried a different tactic. He looked at short descriptions, known as abstracts, of over 12,000 papers, and found that 34% of them took a position on climate change. He then determined that 33% of the 12,000 supported man-made climate change. And when he divided 33 into 34, he got, wait for it, 97%. It's a miracle. Minor problem number two. When another more thorough researcher tried to recreate Cook's study, he found that the abstracts used didn't actually reflect the conclusions, if there were any conclusions at all, of the 12,000 papers. In short, only 41 total papers of the 12,000 actually endorsed what Cook claimed. If you're a conservative, do the math. If you're a liberal, stick with the 97%. Now, whose input did these liberal researchers fail to consider? Solar scientists, the men and women who study our sun. Why is this important? Because during the biggest increases in Earth's temperature, beginning 50 years ago, our sun just happened to be emitting more energy than usual, right up until around 18 years ago. What happened 18 years ago? The rate of temperature increases on Earth started to slow, reaching a point where the rate of global warming has virtually stopped. And it just so happens that about 18 years ago, the sun began to quiet down. Coincidence? Methinks not. Maybe liberals don't cook enough. When you turn up the heat, things get hotter. When you turn down the heat, things cool off. Welcome to Climate Change for Dummies. Now, if, after all this, you're still a hardcore man-made climate change believer, riddle me this, Batman. If man's release of carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming, and we're still pumping more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than ever before, how can our rate of increasing temperatures have slowed to virtually nothing? What's that? Nothing to say? Look, I'm all about the science, but I want to consider all the science available and not just pick and choose the science I like. You know, A thought just occurred to me. Governments across the world have never been larger and more prevalent in our history. With all that political hot air out there, maybe we've found the source for this man-made global warming after all. And if that's true, the good news is we know how to stop it.